Going live now. You got to be quiet.
All right, guys, we trying this one more time. One more time. Come on in. Load up. Load up. Everybody, come on in right now. Right now. We trying this again. So right now we don't have a lot of people in the room. So as people progress, I'm just giving it time for folks to get back into the room. I know you guys have had a long work day, and you're trying to get some good knowledge dropped at about 6 o'clock Eastern. I am here. I'm Madam President. Thank you for tuning in to Fly Nubian Queen. You already know this is the place for melanated Black women and men just like you. Everything created was with you in mind each and every time. Black women, I want you to do me a favor. Text the word queens right now to 31996. Brothers, I know some of y'all like looking at the queens, hollering at the queens. So you go ahead and text the word queens too to 31996 because we are a community, okay? We do not exist without one another. We are much better together. And I just want to let y'all know that I'm here with a dope brother, okay? His name is O. I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and so you guys, I'm gonna let O tell you a little bit about himself, but he's a police officer, and I wanted to have a conversation with him because it's imperative that Black people are all over the world. So, welcome, and I just want to know, basically, let the people know a little bit about yourself.
I'm O. I've been a police officer for 15 years. I've been in patrol for about 6. I've been on the community aspect side of it for the last about 7-8 years as well. I deal mostly with reentry, so I help women and men who come home from incarceration get their lives together. I actually meet them while in prison, so I'm a police officer who goes actually inside the prison system.
Wow.
That's about me.
Yeah, I mean, I think a friend of mine would say that you do the Lord's work, A friend of mine say you do the Lord's work. Anytime you're doing that job that requires you to pull up your sleeve and go into the places of people that most times have been forgotten, we can't minimize that. That's a great duty you're doing.
The reality to it is that being on this job and I come from a zero tolerance era, and you lock people up and you lock people up and you lock people up, and there's no change. There's no change happening, whether it's the people, whether it's the person you lock up. It's like, well, if I locked you up, well, what do you come back to? A lot of times people go to jail, come back better criminals than actually better people who want to be productive in society. So that wasn't working. It wasn't the answer. So I've been pushing for years to do reentry and different things and branch out, because as a police officer, we're so much more than just people who enforce the law. We're counselors, we're mediators, sometimes we're fathers. We're another parent who's invited into someone else's household, and you have to put on that parent hat. Like, hey, your child, you're gonna talk to me with respect, just like I'm respecting you. I'm not one of I'm not one of your little friends on the street that you talk to any kind of way. You're gonna address me as an adult because I'm an adult, not because I wear a blue uniform.
Okay.
Or black uniform, but you're gonna address me. I wouldn't let my kids disrespect me, so why would I let you disrespect me? But a lot of people times we're called just because your kid don't want to go to school. So what's going on? What's the problem? Then you develop those relationships, and you keep it going. You keep it going. A lot of don't get me wrong. We see a lot of ugly stuff, because 9 times out of 10, you're not calling us to the cookout. You're calling us because there's a problem and you want it solved.
Which, before you go any further, I want to say something. You made a good point. Because we're not calling police officers to the cookout, I want to know about community policing. A lot of times in our what's happening right now in this current climate, it's like the police, we all believe that the police are not a part of the communities. So it's very difficult for people to feel comfortable and without fear when it comes to the police. So can you share with me a little bit about community policing, and can it be implemented?
I feel that it can. I think first off, I don't know if you can see me because I'm like fading out of the camera. So
Oh,
I keep turning and ducking and everything. All right, there we go.
okay.
So I feel like that it can be implemented, but it shouldn't have to be. You would think that community policing is common sense, but of course common sense is not common. What I believe is community policing may not be what other police and what departments feel like what community policing is, but my form of community policing is I feel like I've done that my whole career. I feel as though that pretty much community policing is me knowing you.
Okay.
It's me knowing you, me knowing your family, me knowing who lives in my neighborhood that I patrol, and you knowing me. So it's not just when the police ride by, it's not just the stairs that go down between me and you, like there's an issue and I don't even know you, or I'm looking to find or I'm looking to get into something to lock you up on. It shouldn't be that. It should always be, hey, what's up? What's up? And we keep it moving, or there's a conversation in. I should know your children, because when you're not around, who deals with them?
Right. The community.
You know what I'm saying? So if I see little Mike doing something he's not supposed to be doing, I shouldn't have to put Mike in cuffs. I should be able to bring Mike home and bring him to you and be like, yeah, listen, this is what's going on. This is how things should be. This is what's going on. This is what your son is out here doing when you're not looking. And I give you the opportunity to take care of that. If you can't take care of it, then we need to sit down and come up with a plan to get Mike into things that's going to get him out of the streets, whether it's a sport, whether it's counseling, whether it's whatever he needs to get him out the street. And that's what we need to do.
Absolutely.
That's community policing. I don't know the whole dynamics of what other departments and everybody else is doing, and I know some places only want to deal with the community associations, but the community associations, a lot of people who live in neighborhoods don't even know who the president of their community association, what night they meet all the time.
Right.
So it's impossible just to deal with them. I think in community policing, we need a strong representation of organizations or programs in the neighborhood. And there needs to be an alternative to where we can direct our children, where we can direct our young men, where we can our young ladies. We need empowering programs. I hate using the word programs because programs end. So we need movements in our neighborhoods to where, as a police officer, if I bring a kid to you, I'm bringing him to you because I know you're going to have the best influence on his life to impact change. So I don't want to bring them. A lot of times our kids, they're failed. So me as a police officer, bringing them to someone who's just going to let them go and let them fall by the wayside like everybody else in life does or has, is not productive for the youth, for the child, for the man who just came home from jail, for the woman who just came home from. It's not productive. We've been let down so much that at this stage, we can't afford to let our people down, especially those who's trying to recover or who's trying to get up on their feet or who's just don't know the way and trying to find a way. We gotta build them up.
Absolutely.
That's community policing. It takes everybody to come. The police is not the end all be all. So it takes everybody. So that's, in my mind, that's community policing.
Yeah, in my mind, that's a little bit of community policing as well, because community policing is basically the actual police know who's in the community and they live in that community and they're around the community, and it's just not a place that they're used to criminalize and lock people up or just have this basically riding through neighborhoods looking for trouble or a number or whatever that whole process is. So I believe, community policing is definitely necessary, because I want to say something about two things: mass incarceration. When we think about mass incarceration, we have all these Black people, young Black men who went to jail for marijuana and other things. I'm sure people just didn't go to jail for marijuana. They went to jail for other things. Mm-hmm. But they have this extreme sentencing where basically white folks found with cocaine get a lesser sentence than Black folks found with crack. And these men went to jail, 2 bags of marijuana. They in prison for a very long time. And that's a broken system. That's a systemic issue that I don't think that, do you feel that police play a role in a broken systemic infrastructure?
Oh, definitely. If you look at patrol in an urban environment. Well, I patrolled in an urban environment. I still work in an urban environment. So if you look, food deserts, lousy education, out-of-dated textbooks. I know this because I'm also a part of the Explorers program, where we actually go in school and teach classes. Mm-hmm. Not enough. Our youth go through a lot of trauma.
Yes,
and it's been like that for years, that we've all experienced the trauma of living in the urban environment. So basically, it's safe to say we all suffer from PTSD if we come from those environments.
Right.
And we don't have the counseling set up for us. They don't have anything set up for us. It's just go to school like a regular kid. Why can't you be like this one? Why can't you be like that one? And yes, they definitely, as police officers, we play a part, because you deal with a lot of police officers who go, why can't they do this? Why can't they just do this? Why can't they do this? Well, I'm sorry if you never came from the environments that we come from, we've been a part of, and we didn't have the same opportunities that well, you have education, you have school. I'm like, nah, but we don't have it at your degree. We get the new teachers what's the word I'm looking for? We get the new teachers who are a little intimidated by the way our children act in schools. Mm-hmm. and in classes. And the same thing with police officers. You get the new people, the people who's coming up, the people who don't want to be there, but they need to show up to get the experience.
Right.
And that all plays a part in the role of what you asked me. It definitely plays a part. It definitely plays a part. I mean, like, why when you go to the suburbs, you can find 1 or 2 liquor stores, but you come to the hood, you find 6 of them, 1 on every block, along with 30 churches.
Yeah.
How is that a sense of community? If we have 30 churches, who knows who? We know that pastor, we know that pastor, we know this pastor, we know that pastor. Rather than if you go to a suburb or even a white suburb, you have 1 church within 10 miles from each other, and this pastor, and everybody comes together as a community. So the system is designed to keep us apart, and the system is designed for us not to succeed, not to feel like we can escape our circumstances or get out of our circumstances.
Absolutely. I understand where you come from. That everybody, I just want to welcome you to Fly Nubian Queen.
Hello.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here with a veteran police officer. He's been in the game for a very long time. He is not new to this. He is true to this. Okay. Right. He talks about community policing. And I just want to say, you guys should text the word Queens to 31996. And also, too, if you are a sister about her money, then you should go ahead and go to flynubianmoney.com, because I know you want to secure the bag. And if you're about your business, you should go to flynubianbusiness.com, because I know you are about your business. Okay. And as me and O was discussing here, we're just basically talking about the police officers, the current climate of policing. And I wanted to basically sit in front of somebody who was Black and a police officer, I would say. I don't want to say black and blue, because I know some people believe in that wholeheartedly, but I think
I mean, it's a I'm not a part of that. I don't feel, I'm not in no clique. I don't hang out with a lot of police officers. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with them. It's it's for me, this I'm just a loner like that. So I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, oh well, I don't hang with them because no, I'm just saying that's just me. I'd rather come home, chill out. You know, some things they do is not for me. That's all. But in regards to black and blue, I mean, um, people take pride in their jobs.
Yes.
Some more than others. I don't know. I know the blue line, that was more representation for fallen officers. I don't know when it became like a thing, like, oh well, this is the blue line and we stand strong. Whatever. I'm not for it. So I'm like, I'm not in that realm with it. It's a great job. It can be a great job at times. I don't like how we get beat up, but I also understand why we are getting beat up. And it's like with any other job, you don't know who's who. It's like you don't know who. I hate paying taxes, and I don't know who works in the IRS. But you know what I'm saying. So, but I understand in the climate, in the understanding, you definitely it definitely gets hard at times because you know people walk up to me and say the wildest stuff, and it's just like, wait a minute, you don't even know what I do. Like I may have a badge and a uniform on, but you don't know how I affect change. And if change is what we need, why are you not joining to help enforce the change? I can't enforce change by myself. I can't afford. Pardon me. I can't enforce overall change by myself. But what I can do is enforce change in the part that I play. In the part that I play, and I'm not too liked. I'm laughed at. You know, we used to throw cookouts in the neighborhoods, and they used to call us the cookout unit.
Oh, really?
It's like I'm like, well, every Fridays and Saturday we throw a cookout. We do the burgers. We do hot dogs, and we put up a movie screen. We put a movie on for the kids, but for the community to come out and watch.
Absolutely.
And it's like within where I work, it was oh well, yeah, y'all the cookout unit. Y'all the cookout unit. When's your next cookout? It's like, yo, you don't understand that the relationship we build in here.
Absolutely.
And so I guess that's what the whole blue line thing comes into play. People feel it. There's a lot of officers who feel like, you know what? One of my mentors told me, he always says this. He said, police are great at enforcing, but we suck at serving. And it's protect and serve. I am a servant of the community.
Absolutely.
Or as well as a protector of the community. And I think a lot of police officers forget that and only look at the enforcement aspect of it, when this is an all-around thing. Like, we work for a paramilitary structure who wants to enforce. Oh, we got to be the dictators. We got to do this. I'm like, no, we just got to be a part of the community. Just being a part of the community and knowing the people usually alleviates a lot of the drama that goes on in the community, especially with the police. Because if I can pull, Chris, what's going on, man? Let's slide over here and talk for a minute, rather than, all right, well, he gotta go. I'm gonna put the cuffs on him. They all gotta go because they're being disorderly. No, let's talk this out. Let's work this out.
Exactly. I just want to say, everybody who just got here, we're tuning in with a wonderful veteran police officer by the name of O. Won't you guys go ahead and put them thumbs up, like, comment, share. We're going to get some of this information. I got some good questions that I'm going to ask the brother. He has been excellent. I appreciate his time. He is a police that believes in community policing. A lot of times, I want to ask you right now, O, since I have the conversation just brewing about, police officers and our current climate in this country. And that my question to you is, when you hear defund the police, what do you hear when you hear that sentence? That statement.
That one is touchy. I don't know. All right. So, and this is my opinion, and my opinion only. I've been working in the community for the last 7-8 years. I use a lot of community resources. So if you don't know what that means, that's just different programs. People who have programs, and whether it's drugs, whether it's job readiness, whether it's pretty much employment centers. And what I find is that a lot of these places are funded through grants. That, as if you are in the community, you know that. But they're signatures. The people that come through the doors are signatures. So as long as you get their signature, they're accounted for. So what I've dealt with is that those people are only numbers to you for grant situations. So your all is not invested in actually helping the person. So when your all is not invested, like I spoke earlier about community policing, not helping the person, this person can fall by the waistline. So when we talk about defunding the police, if that's how y'all feel that we should deal with it, where's the money going? What are we putting the money into? Are we lining people's pockets, or are we actually affecting change? If we're not affecting change, then no, don't defund the police. Unless there's a plan in place, unless there's an organizations that we're gonna back. Now, I'm not talking about police. I'm just saying in general from the community that we're gonna back 100%, and they're gonna actually do what needs to be done to help in the community. Then yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it the way you want to reallocate funds to. But if it's not serious, it's just like, oh, well, we're just going to take, like a state says, oh, we're just going to take the money back. All right, well, what are you going to do with it? Is it going to go out to the suburbs who don't need it? Is it going to build another mall, or another movie, or another street that may not be needed? Or are we going to fix the ones in our communities, in our Black communities? Are we going to invest? Are we going to send that money to the educational system?
So here's another question that I have for you, because I think you're going somewhere with this. So to my knowledge, the police officers, well, the taxpayers are paying a lot of money with wrongful deaths and things like that. And basically people feel like it's the police officers' fault. You know, like if police officers lack self-control, or in many cases from Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, those kind of situations where we have a person left dead in the hands of the police officers, they're trying to figure out, like, you know, these police officers not being held accountable, and they're getting paid leave. And it's like this kind of funding is just too great of basically it's too great of a risk. So that's when they say defund the police. And I know that it's different for each state, because like California has a little bit something different than New York, you know, but the plan is basically police officers can't have access to all this money.
But I'm not disagreeing. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with you.
Okay.
But my thing is, where's the money going? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all about bettering situations. If you have a better plan that has worked, that is proven, then let's do it. But if not, then where's the money going?
Absolutely. I want to welcome everybody in. Welcome to Fly Nubian Queen. You know, this is the place for melanated Black men and women, okay? We always create with you in mind each and every time. I know you are a person about your bag, so do me a favor, go to flynubianmoney.com. And if you're a person about your business, go to flynubianbusiness.com. I just basically want to welcome you in here. I am here with a veteran police officer. Oh, he's speaking the truth from his perspective, and I love it. He's a person about doing the work, and we're just talking about what it means to defund the police. And I like where you were going and what you were saying, because you're basically saying, like, yeah, defund the police, but we ain't rich. We ain't getting all this money.
I mean, that don't mean I want my salary cut. I don't want that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, if it's gonna help the situation, because I'm a Black man, And I can only be a black man. I'm a black man in a uniform. I'm a black man out of a uniform. I say when the police ride behind me, I still get nervous. Why? Because I don't know which way they're gonna go. They don't know me just because I'm police. I got situations where officers only knew me in my uniform, and I was just a civilian on the outside. So I carry a gun. So what you think I'm thinking might happen to me? I think about the same situations that we all think about. What do I tell my son when he stopped by the police? Do I ask him to do I tell him to I get the badge number and the name and we gonna handle it from there? Or do I tell him, yo, just do whatever's said because I'd rather you live than to have an unfortunate event. You know, I'd rather you not say, yo, my dad's a police officer and yada yada yada, and go on with everything and go on and realize that some people just don't care if your dad is a police officer. He's still a black man, or another word. Or you just don't care regardless about my kid or about anything else. So just like everybody else, I want change, man. I want change just like everybody else. And you know, I always when I speak at community events, I tell people like this all the time. This is like a marriage, an abusive marriage, and it needs counseling, it needs healing, it needs whatever it's gonna take to remedy the situation. The only thing about this marriage is really nobody can walk away. Nobody can walk away unless we're gonna get more people who want change to actually join. And now we have powers in numbers, because it's always about numbers. Why do you think they stress us to vote? It's always about numbers. So if the numbers remain the same of people who actually want to see that change happen compared to people who think everything is fine with the way it is, we're never going to get the change that we're looking for. And if we're not sitting at no table, we definitely not going to get the change we looking for. We can get out, we can protest, we can put Black Lives Matter on some streets.
Okay, talk to me.
We can do all of that. We can make a lot of noise. We can have a great pictures for history. But if we ain't getting at no table, what change are we enforcing?
Okay. So
if this movement, Black Lives Matter, is getting all of this money and the hundreds of millions, as I say, I don't really pay attention to it. But if they are, why are we not at no table? I'm a black man. I don't want Black Lives Matter painted on no street. What does it mean? I want change. I want to know that it matters to us as a people. I want to know. I want to feel it. I don't want to feel the paint on the street that can be taken up the next day, the next week, whenever. I want to know that when I walk down the block, as my son walked down the block, that, oh, all right, I feel a change. This is the new way of life. I feel this. It's about damn time that we are accepted. That's what I want to feel.
Absolutely.
I can't feel that with no paint. I'm sorry. We need to get at some tables. We need to be in them. We need to be taught. We need whoever our leader is, or whoever's gonna be the leader, or whoever wants to step up and be the leader. Which I understand that people don't want to step up and be leaders, because we see history has shown us what happens to our leaders. They get killed. They get killed. Their lives get ruined. So I understand but if we come together, can't kill us all.
Absolutely. I understand that wholeheartedly. No one can harm us all. And that's why unity is so important in our community, which we don't get a chance to just have all the time, is unity, because we all have different needs, so when we have different needs, unity just seems very difficult to stick to. But the one thing that I really want to get back involved with is a seat at the table. And also, somebody mentioned some laws, and I want to run this by you, because I'm a person who like the law, because a lot of times people do not have the discipline to govern themselves. So the law is in place to help you govern yourself. As you can see, even the law gets broken all the time. So you can't get mad at nobody.
Well, if you didn't know, I believe it's damn near all 50 states. if you ride your bike without a bell on it and lights, you're breaking the law. So, I mean,
this is something that Donald Trump mentioned yesterday, which was lawlessness when it comes to basically the protests and the response to the case of Breonna Taylor. So my question to you is, basically, do you believe that protest is associated with some form of lawlessness? Do you agree or disagree?
Nah, not really. I mean, I think in every situation we always have opportunists. So, I mean, it is always opportunists in every situation. So you always have people who want to do the right thing and protest and do what they do and be heard, and then you always have people who just want to tear things up. So I don't think it go hand in hand. I actually walked in a couple protests.
Oh, nice.
In uniform. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that everybody just wants to tear things up.
Do you believe based on where you are currently, you're a veteran police officer for many years now. Do you believe that you have to choose between being Black and being a police officer right now?
No, but I'm human. I can tell you that you get beat down. But it's hard to try to keep a positive vibe in a bad situation where people feel like I'm on the opposing side. So basically, if I'm the enemy, but I'm extending an olive branch, I'm extending my arm, I'm extending everything that I have as a Black man to within the community, and it hurts every time these situations come about, because as a Black man, you pardon my French, but you pissed off just like everybody else. But my pissed off, I can't take that to work with me. I mean, it's just like that. Whatever you doing, if you get in here and you rant the wrong things and you start calling sisters the B word and everything else, that destroys everything that you represent, right?
Yeah, so, become a rapper.
And it kind of like it distorts everything that I represent. It's like, yo, I'm trying to impact change. I'm trying to bring about change. I'm trying to bring people together. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, you should like the police because we're all good. No, I'm not saying that, because there's bad apples in every bunch. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we have to work together. There is no solving the crime problem. The police can't do it. So you shouldn't look for the police to do it. But it should be a whole community thing. The community, you tired? I'm tired. Well, let's deal with this together. And that's how it should be addressed.
Exactly. I get.
I kind of lost the question you asked me. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It gets like that sometimes, especially when you are, when you in thought and you're kind of having an ongoing conversation. You like, look, it kind of strays, but I'm here to bring you back. So I'm going to ask you this right here. Let's talk about the Breonna Taylor case. Breonna Taylor, Louisville, Kentucky. I went to college in Kentucky. I went to Kentucky State University, and I lived in Frankfort, Kentucky, which is the capital of Kentucky, very small community. And one thing that I noticed about Kentucky is it's not big city, but I guess Louisville would be the big city for the big city.
I've never been.
So the thing about, I didn't see much community policing in Kentucky. There were a lot of white men on the force and a lot of Black people being locked up, but a lot of locals and things like that.
That's a lot of places.
Yeah. So
a lot of places. Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
I know it's okay. I was just going to say, so in Kentucky, it's a small. So for them to get numbers, because I believe that the justice system is ruled by numbers. I live here in Georgia, and I noticed a couple years ago there was an article that said that the judges and the cops, everybody was getting a 20% raise, and I said, if everybody's getting a 20% raise in the judicial system here in Georgia, that means we're paying for it. So that means more people are getting tickets. Tickets are going up. Insurance is going up. All these different factors. And that is a headache, for the people. But when I think about the Breonna Taylor case, I cannot help but just see that there were some professionals about this case, and the police officers were the professionals. And I think you experienced this yourself potentially as a cop who also has to be a human and a superhuman as a professional when you have other people's lives in your hand. Where did these police officers go wrong, if they did go wrong? But just in general, like this no knock, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the no knock warrant, but something went wrong. And I just think, do you happen to have any opinion or idea where things went wrong on the cops front?
Like I told you earlier, me and my wife just had this conversation. So, a no-knock warrant, I don't know. Where I'm at is it's not a law or anything. It is just a request that can be granted by a judge. When you put it in the warrant and you are to explain in detail why do you need to use these usually unnecessary circumstances in the execution of your warrant. So you explain that, and the judge gives a yay or nay. He may tell you to write the warrant over without the no knock situation in it, but you're requesting to go into somebody's house like this. Usually I've been on a couple of no knock warrants early in my day when I was younger. And it usually goes, you take the bunker to the door and you're yelling, police, police, police. You're not sneaking into someone's crib and trying to be discreet to where they know that that you're not the police coming into their house. So there was a lot of, I didn't really follow too much of the Breonna case, and it's not any effect like police wise. It's just that when I'm trying to impact change, sometimes you have to disconnect yourself from actually everything that's going on, for the simple fact is that it takes my focus away from what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish. So me dialed in, paying attention, it might just mess my train of thought up and mess what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm Black, so I'm angry. I can't afford to be angry right now, because my job is to be the level-headed one. So I can't afford to be angry at coworkers. I can't afford to be angry at people for what they say about me. I have to be the one to try to bring people together. So, but anyway, back to Breonna Taylor. So the no-knock warrant, I don't know if they did. They should have been announcing themselves as soon as they came through the door. Because usually you get a no-knock warrant if you want to secure evidence. If there's a way that they can get rid of evidence faster, i.e. drugs or whatever the case may be. That's when you go and no one, or if the person considered dangerous is I don't know what. So the element of surprise is there. But usually when you come through that door, you're announcing yourself. I've never seen it done any other way. Well, because I've only been with one department too, but I've never seen it done any other way. So I sat back and I was like, well, I believe they said her boyfriend let off a shot, not even shooting at them, but I may be wrong. So if I'm anything I'm wrong, correct me. They said the boyfriend woke up and he let off a shot, a warning shot, and the police started shooting. that means it sounds like to me they didn't announce themselves as soon as they came through the door.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm constantly going police, 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 some beg to argue, well, they could be sleeping different or they could be not coherent. But I'm like, this ain't it's not supposed to be the police is here. The police. No, you're supposed to be yelling it. Police, get down. Nobody moves. That's how it normally went when I've been on them.
Exactly.
It's never been on no, hey, let's break into this door and make sure you open the door very quietly. No, because you don't know who's gonna come out shooting or what's gonna move or whatever. No, we are the police. We just entered, and that's that. So, a knock on, huh?
I said, I'm listening. I'm saying that makes sense. I
mean, yeah. So, yeah, you don't do that. It's just it sounded funny. It was like, my first thought as a police officer was like, well, when I first heard the story was like, dang, he just shot at the police when they came through the door. I'm pretty sure they was yelling and announcing themselves and had the flashlights out because it's dark and they need to see. How did they know it? Were there any kids in the house? Because you have to do a safety brief and you have to give all of this to the judge.
Absolutely.
You don't just write the warrant and the judge just signs off on it. He will usually a good judge wants to know everything that's entailed to go in somebody's house.
Exactly. And
kids in the establishment, or do you know? What do you know?
Mm-hmm.
So some judges you have relationships with, and they'll sign off on it without reading them all the time. I've seen that. Because they trust your character and they trust your judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Other judges want full details, like, do you know if they have kids in the house? Is there a girlfriend who stays there in that apartment? Some judges want details.
Right.
But that was definitely a sad situation. In my opinion, I don't think they got charged with anything. But the simple fact is that you would have to look back on the judicial system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why they didn't charge him, because it falls back on the judge. Well, judge, what did you read in the warrant? What did the warrant say? Did anybody? I haven't heard anybody ask a question about, well, what did the warrant say?
Yeah, nobody.
All we know, all anybody ever says is, oh, it was a no-knock warrant. But what did the warrant say? Mm-hmm. Who was in there? Oh, there's an ex-boyfriend, and then it was a lack of due diligence on their job too. But not knowing that I believe the person that they was looking for, he didn't even live there anymore.
He didn't live there anymore.
Right. So it was if you were on this guy's heels like this to get enough evidence to get him to get a warrant, why didn't you know that?
Yeah.
So why didn't you know that? Like, I'm pretty sure y'all watched him and did everything. I mean, you just didn't get you just didn't meet the criteria of a warrant just off the strength of going to the judge, or maybe they did. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Those of you guys who just got in, I'm here speaking with a veteran police officer by the name of O. He is about the community, and he has been community policing, and he's a man of integrity. And, he doesn't have to choose between being black and blue because the brother is black, okay, 24/7, all day, every day. And he's been about his business in his profession for a very long time. So I thought it was important for us to hear, a police officer's perspective as we go through different things such as defund the police, as we go through, police reform, and a lot of different things as we fight for justice and change in this world. Black people are a part of every system in this country. So
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What does police reform look like to you?
Oh, what is? I'm supposed to ask the questions.
What does it look like to you? I just want to hear it sometimes.
So police reform looks like to me. I saw it once on I was watching a YouTube video. I think it was in a place like Portland. They had some kind of police reform program, and basically they kind of de-escalate situations, because the reality about policing is you have it's a dangerous job. It is not just peaches and cream and getting apple pies, okay? That's not what policing is. Especially, I grew up in the inner city of Chicago. I've been dodging bullets since I was a little girl when I was in Chicago.
Yeah,
so
I grew up in New York.
7 years old and having to get down on the floor because bullets were flying all over the city.
Right.
So, I know what it feels like to need protection. So I won't pretend as if police officers, can be obsolete and will be okay. But what I do believe reform could look like is some form of accountability when it comes to death. We have to get police officers, in my opinion, in a place where pulling a trigger because of fear is not the option when you're dealing with mental health issues or you're dealing with a person with their back turned. According to a legal document, I can't remember the case, but there's a case versus somebody in Tennessee where shooting a fleeing person supposed to be illegal. It went to the Supreme Court in the 80s.
I forgot the case name too, but it's actually a fleeing felon. You don't have to a fleeing. I hate to say it like this. It sounds, a fleeing felon you can shoot. You can shoot. I hate to say it, sound like that. I mean, it's because it sounds horrible when you say it like that. Nobody should be shot in the back for running. They're no threat. You know what I'm saying? They're no threat. They're no threat to anything. But I like that. I like that.
Also, too, I believe in community policing. So, like, for example, I think community policing consists of a lot of things that you stated, but, where police officers maybe get some kind of homeowners incentive to be police officers in the community in which they live. We have to take care of the community in general. So, like, I don't want Tay or any, of the young men who go through life challenges, because we have school systems that need some kind of attention as well. But my point is, I don't want that to be the excuse of people not doing, their job.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. Police reform shouldn't be reformed by the police. It should be a panel of a mixture. Something, the reality is, and something that doesn't how can I put it? Something that, I hate these words. Something that doesn't affect the crime fight, but helps the community.
Another question I want to pose though too, because when I think about reform, I'm thinking about protection, peace, and like you say, crime. When I think about my car getting stolen, it doesn't hold the same capacity as, a teenager being shot, like, huh?
I said it doesn't.
Yeah, like I'm okay with my car going away, but I can't be okay if a young person or elder or anybody lose their life for a reason that is just unjustifiable.
I started thinking, like, because I got to a point where I was so frustrated with things going on that it weighed on my mental so heavy. And at one point I was like, yo, maybe we should police our own. Because I don't want to make it the whole black and white thing, but it is what it is. White officers are killing us, and they give these lame excuses of, well, I was in fear for my life. My man, listen, check me out. You shouldn't be on a job if you was in fear for your life. You know what I'm saying? Go pick another profession. Go pick a county out where you live, but you should not be trying to come in the effort. In my communities, talking about you in fear for your life.
Absolutely.
Like, you're in fear for your life, you don't need to be here.
Yeah,
you don't need to be here. There's no way you can walk in a project in New York City talking about, I was on patrol and I was on the stairways in the projects by yourself as a police officer. Listen, I'm not going to nobody's project on no stairway as a civilian or police officer by myself. It's just not happening. But yet you're scared for your life. I'm like, well, you put yourself in a horrible position to be in, to be scared for your life. Now you accepted that when you seen that building and you go, "Ooh, I ain't never been in there before." And now you just want to go and walk the stairwells. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Also, another
it's too many. Huh?
I don't want to cut you off. I want to hear what you said.
It's just too many with Castillo in Minnesota. Oh, I was in fear for my life. My man, he told you he had a gun. And he told you he was legally carrying that gun. What are you scared for? What changed that quick? It was the conversation of he told you he had the gun. Like these things, like just it blows my mind. It's like, okay, you coward, go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to jail. Go to jail. I don't even want to hear your story. Go to jail.
When we think about policing as well, and we're going to close up here very shortly, but when we think about policing, you know, there was a time, I want to say first Black cops started coming into the force maybe in the 60s. It could have been as early as the 50s, but, you know, this hasn't been our occupation for hundreds and hundreds of years. No. So these systems that are in place, we're just not a part of, we have no say so of these systems. We're just like, we're a part of it, you know, because we had to start getting hired in all professions, such as police officers and teachers. You know, we've had so many fights. And I just want to, I think my point to bring this in is, you know, how do we enforce, or how do we prevent racism in policing, you know, because it's very difficult. Like as a police officer, if you see or witness racism in any way, how do you fix this?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think you can fix a person. You know, racism is taught.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a lot of the environments, if I'm raised that, you know, these people of the lowest scum on the earth and yada 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 and everything else under the sun, and we don't like them because of their skin color, and I go to one of these communities and I see that, that just fortified their feeling. Everything that they was taught was right, or pretty much. I believe people see what they want to see, not always what's in front of them. Everybody has their own perception, so their perception was already built. Their perceptions was already installed in them. And now they see it being verified because of the killings in the neighborhoods. Oh my God, these people act like animals. And I'm like, well, first off, who the hell are these people? Who are these people? This is the one side we get to see. Like I said, as police officers, we don't get the calls of the cookouts. We don't go, hey, you know, Officer D, we got the party going on. Why don't you stop through? Have a drink, get a plate. No, we don't get that. We get called when there's problems. When whoever act up at the party or shots go off or whatever happens, we get the other end of that. We don't get to see the good side. That's why I wanted to get into the community at the aspect of the community unit in my department, and actually seeing what's actually going on. Like, you know, you'll be surprised at how many officers don't know the positive programs or positive resources that they can use, that they have at their disposal to help mitigate things. Like we took mediation training. You know, now it's mandatory for us to take de-escalation training, but I did that a whole long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's to get back on point, the racism. I mean, you know, people are taught that. I've seen Black officers become biased of people in urban communities.
Yeah, I mean,
the simple fact is that, well, why they can't? Well, I did it. I grew up just like them. They could have did this. They could have did that. But I'm like, yo, we all have different circumstances.
Well, that's one of the things that's very difficult, because what happens is when you find a group. So I don't know if you ever saw or read. I'm sure you saw Birth of a Nation, and yes. But one of the things I would like to highlight is in Birth of a Nation, there was a scene where Nat Turner, Nat, the young boy, Nat, he was basically, he could read. So when he could read, the master's wife, she says, I knew there is a God. I'm going to bring him inside the house. So there's this thing a lot of times in our community that any Black person that is better in any capacity that they see, whether they get to a height somewhere, better athlete, better in finance, better in reading, the first thing that happens is they separate them from their community. So you have Black police officers who've been separated from their community, or anybody that is Black that has been separated from their community. The first thing that they kind of just speak from a place of judgment, you know, oh yeah, I made it out. They can make it out too. But, you know, we all are different. We all come from different circumstances, and we all live a completely different life, and we all have different resources. So one of the things too, I always say, when you're a young Black man in this country, how do you get out? LeBron James says it was 10 of his friends who, it was 10 of them. He said 5 of them are doing well and the other 5 are dead. He said he do not know what happened to that other 5. He said they were on the same path. That's what happens when you're dealing with a system, a systemic thing.
When I became police, well, actually, I wasn't even when I was going through the process, I went back to my hood, New York, and I told my peoples, yo, let's go down here and do this. Different state, let's go down here and do this before you get jail records and everything else, and then it's over. And I brought maybe 5, 6 of my friends down to take tests and everything else under the sun, and they didn't follow through, or they didn't pass it. They didn't pass the test. I'm the only one who actually passed the test, so of course I wasn't gonna go, well, oh, I'm not gonna do this because y'all didn't do it. Like, this is actually, I actually took the test twice, because the first time I was like pacing in my room, looking at the application, going, I can't be no cop. I can't be no cop. Like I was raised not even to talk to the police, and here I am going to put an application in to become a cop. I said, I can't do this. 3 years went by, and then I reapplied and was like, what was I thinking? I was like, how can we affect change in our neighborhoods? How can I not fear the police? We don't know that, and who knows the inner workings of the police system? Everybody can talk about what's wrong with it, about what they feel, but you don't know the inner workings of it. So the only way and my belief is the only way to impact change is to get on the court, get in the game. We can sit here and talk about LeBron scoring 40 all night, but if he lose, did I help him win? Did I get on the court and throw him a pass? Did I get on? Was I just a sub to burn 5 minutes for him to get rest? You know what I'm saying? Get in the game. And like I said, we gotta get to these tables, man. All the protesting is great. It raises concern. You got you have departments in fear. But if we ain't getting in no tables and making no real change, or somebody sitting at these tables going, yo, listen, this is what we want. What y'all gonna do? Oh, all right. Well, you know what? We got 10,000 more people coming tomorrow. Because if we can't sit down and have a meeting and iron everything out, what are we doing it for? We just, all right. Oh, hell no, we won't go. Black Lives Matter, whatever else you want to root, fuck police, whatever. All right, that's all cool. But a lot of people just stand there and like, all right, y'all finished yet? Y'all finished? All right. It's only about 2 more hours. All right, y'all finished? All right, I'm going home. And then we move on. But unless we at the table with people outside going, yo, listen, people ain't going nowhere until we are sitting at this table and we are actually putting something on paper. to affect change. And but when we go to that table, we also have to have a plan. What is the plan? What is the strategy? What are we doing? What are we asking for? Don't go there ignorant, talking about, oh, well, we just want change. What change look like? What's the plan? What did y'all come up with that we need to change?
Absolutely. Another thing is too, race relations is very important. So, you know, when you have white police officers who don't have any encounters with black people at any point, except when they're dealing with them on the legal front, this is a complete disaster when it comes to
and that's why I started feeling like, well, maybe we should police our own. Like maybe they should police. I mean, I hate to bring segregation into it, but it's like, come on, man, you can't really fear for your life every damn time something happens.
Exactly.
I'm in white communities, I'm in black communities. I don't fear for my life at all 9 times out of 10, unless I know something's going down. And you get the little, your spidey senses start tingling when you feel about something's gonna go down or something's getting ready to go on. So it's like these excuses, and then they just get. And I don't mean to be off subject because, like I said, this is why I'll be having to take a lot of time off, because it gets to you as a black police officer. It's like, you did what? But just like I tell people all the time, man, you can't tell a person how they felt in a situation. It's just like riding roller coasters. I may feel like that big drop is the most terrifying thing on the face of the earth, while the person next to me is like, oh yeah, it's the most enjoyable time that I'm ever. So you can't tell a person how to feel. And that's the hard part about when we look at police reform. Like, I can go up to a crowd of 30 black men who may just be building, who may be drinking, who may just, or even just chilling. And I'm comfortable in that environment. The person next to me, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, can be terrified in that environment. So when you look at, like, you can't tell what a person is feeling. But it's like, for me, it hurts me extra because, to me, like I've been saying, I think these excuses are lame. But at the same time, I gotta go, well, I know I can't tell what a person is really feeling, or how he's feeling, or how he should react in the situation. But you have many things on your tool belt. For you to reach for your gun first, I think is horrible. Yeah. I think unless someone's shooting at you, unless you've seen a gun, I don't think you should reach for your gun. That shouldn't be your first. Like, you have mace, you have a baton. Certain states you have tasers. The gun should be an absolute last resort to any situation. Like, I mean, if you get the call and the person is armed, okay, you may have to pull your gun out, but then you explain to the person what led up to this necessary instance for you. I mean, I can't respond to an armed person call and possibly not take my gun out. If you're sitting in the car and I can't see your hands, I'll be at what we call touch point. That's when your finger is not on the trigger, but it's on the slide of the weapon. I can do that, and I can just point, hey, maybe I'm not even pointing the weapon at you, but it's down and it's ready. Hey, I need to see your hands. I see your hands. You got any weapons in the car? You gotta start doing the job the right way.
Absolutely.
Like, you see the videos of where police just run up on the cars. That's not how you do a felony car stop. You don't do a felony car stop like that. And this is universal. You stop the car. If you believe the car or somebody in the car has weapons, you call for backup. Backup gets there. One person may take out their weapon, but you give the person commands. You tell them to take the keys out the car. You can have them put them on top of the car, or you can tell them to put it on the dashboard. I prefer it on top of the car. Put both of your hands out the window. Use the left hand. Open the door. You come out the window. Do not turn and face me. walk back to the sound of my voice. Once you walk back to the sound of my voice, I tell you, put your hands behind your head. I grab your hands. I tell you to get on your knees. Nobody died. Nobody lost their life. You may be a little embarrassed, but you live and everybody else lives. Now, if I find guns or drugs in your car, then you just go to jail. You're already in handcuffs. There's no reason for me to be fighting. There's no reason for me to be shooting you. And there's no reason for me to be in the corner fear for my life.
Right. Well, the one thing I want to say is I appreciate everybody who's here. We want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys just coming.
Thank you for tuning in.
You know, we're here. I'm here with Officer O. He has a veteran police officer. He's been about his business, policing the community for over 15 years. So we got a lot of gratitude for, you know, the time that he's put in his community and how, you know, he's about doing the right thing. He's talked a lot about what his current experiences are as a police officer as we deal with the race climate as well as Black Lives Matter. I encourage all of you to share this video with your friends and family so you can take a look at it, put it in your archive and check it out as often as possible. And, you know, show somebody the example of good policing because you're looking at it. Also, I would like to say that you're here on flynubianqueen.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you know what to do, go ahead and text the word Queens to 31996. And if you are a woman about your money, go to flynubianmoney.com. I know you about your bag, so go ahead and go to flynubianmoney.com. But if you about your business, go to flynubianbusiness.com. flynubianbusiness.com. Oh, like I told you before, I want to speak with you again. We're going to get some more police officers in here, and we're going to have this conversation with a few more cops just to let the energy and the information dissect and maybe have a few stories along with it. We can do this all day because I know as a cop, you have plenty of experience, plenty of stories and experiences. I just want to say I appreciate you. I thank you for being with me tonight. I've gotten so much information. Let's make sure we stay connected. And to the Fly Nubian Queen family, we will see you again tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern.
Peace.
Peace.